pilot episode of Drive In, Drive Out. Today my guest is Jeff Foreman. He's the proud owner of a 1970 Dodge Challenger RT, located in Jamestown, North Carolina. Under the hood you will find a 383 Magnum with a 4-barrel carburetor producing 335 brake horsepower. The color of this car is dark green metallic. The first generation Dodge Challenger was produced from 1969 to 1974, assembled in either Michigan or California, and they were designed by Carl Cameron. Here's a fun fact for you. The grille that ended up in production in the 1970 Challenger was originally designed for the 1966 turbine Charger. That car never made it to production, so they decided to dust off the old drawings and use that grille in the Challenger. The 383 Magnum RT will reach a speed of 99 miles per hour in 14.3 seconds in a quarter mile. And personally, I love this car. It says, hop in, let's go have some fun. This is Drive In, Drive Out.
It's a 1970 Dodge Challenger RT. My dad actually ordered this car right out of Vietnam with his combat pay money. Custom ordered it and got everything on it the way he wanted it. The car was, became part of the family with my dad. He just loved this car to death. And around 74, him and mom started talking about having kids, and this definitely was not the economical car for fuel. So that was the big thing. He was debating on selling it, and they talked about it, and so they did wind up selling it to a guy locally in Greensboro, North Carolina. And again, he never looked for this car.
Right.
It was something that he never really thought about. He thought about the car here and there, but he never really thought about owning it again. But we, I can't remember how, I was probably 10 or 11 years old, but it was in 1985 that we all went to the Mopar National Show. This vendor from Ohio that had a book with a bunch of cars that he had for sale, and there's this dark green Challenger in that book, and it looked just like Dad's car. Obviously it didn't have a stripe on it, but it still had a lot of the same trim options that my dad ordered the car with. You just didn't see those options a lot. So
Right.
they started talking to the guy, and Jimmy, my dad's best friend, he was there with him, and he was talking to that vendor and said, man, this looks just like Dana's car. And the guy from Ohio was like, there's no way, this is y'all's car. I mean, what are the chances of that happening? He says, I bought this car off a guy down in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Right.
So Dad and Jimmy started laughing. They're like, yeah, this is my car. We're from Greensboro, North Carolina. So long story short, they got more detail from the guy and looked at the VIN numbers, and it was his actual car. So they made arrangements and got the car back from Ohio. So it was 1985 when he got the car back.
So basically 15 years went by.
Yeah. So just a small world kind of thing. Nobody really expected it to happen the way it did, but it came in, and it wasn't completely ragged out, but it definitely was not in show quality or anything like that.
Right.
So it was a project car that he and I wanted to try to restore together, and he got about a third of it restored, and he passed away in 2003 before
Right.
he got it all done. Luckily for me, Dad had kept a bunch of different parts, collected a lot of parts for the car to get it restored.
Right.
But time and money just ran out of time, and then when he passed, it was just one of those things. But he also had a 1956 Dodge when he passed away that he left with me and Mom, and so I sold that car and used that money, and it took about 3 years, and between me and two friends, John Cook and Philip Hawkins, we basically restored the car all the way back to new. I had old pictures of the car to kind of go by and make sure from 1970, just make sure I was doing everything the right way. And,
Right.
between Jimmy and my two friends, we all put all our heads together and got it back to normal. I feel like I did Dad proud, and I did it right. For 3 years, the first 3 years after I had it restored, I showed it probably 4 or 5 times a year.
How'd that go?
And just about every show I'd win first place. So it was kind of a
that's great.
justification that, you know, I did it right, and every show that I entered it under Jeff and Dana Foreman. So it was kind of a nice tribute to him, and you know, it was pretty cool whenever, you know, the awards were being given out that they would say his name with my name, and
Right.
so just it's a really nice family heirloom to have.
And you heard about this car, of course, by then, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
You've heard
yeah.
stories about it, and kind of knew about it, that this was Dad's pride and joy car that he hated to get rid of. So yeah, we definitely I knew about this car, you know, when I was
Right.
growing up. But he restored a '72 Challenger, and we did the whole car show thing. So that's kind of how I got involved with getting involved and really getting into the cars. And
Right.
you know, he took me to the car shows, and we would show his '72 Challenger, and it's kind of how I got the bug with it. So it was kind of, I understood when he bought that car how important it was to him at that time to find his old cars. It was kind of cool to be a part of that. You know, I'm just passing it on to my 2 boys, and hopefully they'll keep it in the family. But
They better keep it.
yeah, well, I told them, I said, they're at the age now where they're a little bit spooked out by ghosts, and I said, well, if you ever sell this car after I'm dead, I'm gonna come haunt you. So they say they'll never do it, but the only problem is I got 2 kids in 1 car, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. But
You can't cut it in half, so yeah.
I'd like to one day own a new Challenger maybe, and then I can leave them both of those cars and they can share.
So does the oldest get the oldest car,
Yeah, I don't know.
and the youngest gets the
They
newer
have to
car?
just flip a quarter. I don't know.
There you go.
It's really good.
I think I'd rather have maybe this one.
I'm thinking the 70 would be
Yeah.
whoever got that one would be the winner. But it's funny though, going back when I was a kid, though, I used to make fun of this dark green color. Like, Dad, this color's so ugly, and the 1972 Challenger was top banana yellow, so you knew how much attention it would get.
Right.
You know, but as a kid, I'm like, the bright colors are better. But as an adult, you know, looking back, I'm glad I did this car back all original, because originally it had the dark green metallic color, and in the sunshine, man, the green pops out.
The green kind of grows on you after a while.
It does. You know, and again, that all comes with being mature and understanding the history and just really appreciating what you got, and that's kind of where I'm at with this car.
Yeah.
You know, I was lucky when I did get it restored. I was living in South Carolina at the time, and 2 of my best friends down there, one was a paint and body guy and one was a motor guy. So
I might need his number.
It all came together. Yeah, they really did a good job. I did all the little nitpicky detail stuff while they did the bulk work of it, and I was real. Like I said, it all came together.
Right.
You know, we all had full-time jobs, and it took us 3 years to do this car. So a lot of time and sweat and blood and tears went into it, and
I know the
I'm
feeling.
proud of it.
That is a beautiful car. Any car movies you can think of that are your favorites?
Oh my God, my dad's there was 2. Vanishing Point, obviously, with the 70 Challenger in there,
Right.
Kowalski, and the Bullet movie. He loved the Bullet movie with the Charger chases.
Yep.
So those were his two favorites, which, you know, obviously he got me into those movies, and so those were big car movies.
How about
Christine,
today?
of course, too.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah,
forget
yeah.
about Christine.
Christine, I remember when I saw that first time as a kid, and I was always fascinated how the car would morph and all the dents would come back out of it.
It was a pretty amazing movie too.
I still, you know, I could probably definitely figure it out, but I've always wondered how they did that.
Oh, it was filmmaking, you know, back then especially was.
Yeah, I mean that's
You didn't have it
a
all
lot of
the time.
manual labor to do that then. Today it's, you know, green screen.
Yeah, it really is. But you know, mentioned Jimmy Dalton a couple times. You know, he has a dark green Challenger just like this one. It's a RT SE, so it's a special edition car. It's got a few differences in his car to this one, but it was 11 days apart from the assembly line. But the funny story is, you know, my dad, before he got this car back, Jimmy lived in Greensboro, and he had his Challenger. He would have it sitting out in his driveway, and my dad drove by one day and seen it sitting out there. So he stopped by and says, "Hey man, do you want to sell your car?" He said, "I used to have one just like this," and
He said no,
and,
probably.
And of
yeah.
course, Jimmy says, "No, I'm gonna hang on to it," because Jimmy had bought his car new as well. So definitely, it was one of them deals. They hit it right off and became best friends. And then my mom and Jimmy's wife Debbie, they're best friends. So Jimmy kind of became my second father also. Especially when Dad passed, you know, it was connected a lot with Jimmy.
Right, because they had so much in common.
Right.
And
so it's you know, me and Jimmy have shown our cars together several times over the last few years, and it's good to get out and be with him and enjoy our cars together.
you know, it's one of those things that I've been around cars my entire life, and really the best people that I'm around and the people that I get along with the best are somehow attached to or have an affinity for some type of car.
Yep.
And you know, they're all kind of basically the same, but you know, seem to be good people.
I think there's a universal kind of code with each other that,
Yeah.
you know, whether
Yeah.
it's a Chevrolet, Ford, Dodge, I mean, you appreciate the enthusiasm that
Right.
each of us have, and there's always joking back and forth, but at the end of the day, you know, you just
It's about
appreciate
people.
each other, yeah, and you appreciate their stories, and you know, it's a good deal to get out and do that kind of thing, talk about your cars and tell the histories and the stories.
Clear.
Special effects.
We're
indeed.
following the law to the letter. To the letter.
I'm not speeding in this neighborhood.
No.
Even though this is the first place I got a speeding ticket was in this neighborhood.
Now, how great would that be
That
if
would-
we could get stopped?
I know, right? Not so much, but.
It's fun.
Hopefully that was all recorded.
Yeah, it's all
Take two.
yeah.